Hey there, you must be a contractor. Welcome to Greif. Now look, before you get started, there's a few safety things that we need to go over. Safety is our highest value, and we need that to be your highest value as well. So when you come on site, there's a few things that you're gonna need to know before you even get started. Now look, before you come on site, we need you to send us your liability insurance so that we can keep it on file. You'll need to send that every single year. It's our responsibility at Greif to let you know all of the safety responsibilities you'll have to take on when you come on site. And it's your responsibility to understand those and then uphold those when you're on site and ask any questions that you might have. So come on, let's go and get started. Now look, as soon as you come on site, you'll need to come to the main office and sign in. And when you leave, you'll need to sign out. That's very important. We'll talk about why here in a second. Let's go. Now right here at the main desk is where we're going to sign in. You'll make sure you put the date that you got here, your name, the company you represent, and your time in and your time out. You'll also write in your Greif contact name. All right, now that we're signed in, we can go over a few safety things. All right, now that we're signed in, let me show you why it's so important that we sign in and sign out every time. That's just in case we have an evacuation. We're gonna grab the sign-in sheet and we're gonna see who's on site and who's not so we can take a head count. We'll take that head count right over here in the evacuation area. I'll show you where that's at right now. Come on, let's go. Oh good, you made it. This is the evacuation area. If there is an evacuation, this right here is where we're gonna meet at Mill 2, right outside the main office. At Mill 1, their evacuation area is right outside their main office. The CFB and converting also have evacuation areas that you'll need to be familiar with if you're working in those areas. It's so important that you meet up out here if we have an evacuation because we're gonna take a head count. And if the fire department or other rescue services come on site and you're not here or you didn't sign in or out, they're gonna be going in the mill looking for you and you may not even be there. So it's vitally important that you sign in, sign out. And if we do have an evacuation, it's a meet up right here. Oh, I see you noticed our no smoking sign. That's a very important policy here. There's no tobacco products at all on site. That means no dip, no chewing tobacco, no e-cigarettes, and no real cigarettes. We're at a paper mill. We cannot risk fire damage on our site. And it's just healthier overall. There's also a couple other things that we just can't have on our site. That's firearms, tobacco products, alcohol, or drugs. So make sure we don't have any of that on our site. Come on. One thing that's very important is that you report all injuries that happen on site, no matter how minor they may seem. We need to know about it so we can investigate the cause and mitigate any safety issues that may have occurred. So reporting injuries is vitally important. Oh, hey, I'm glad I caught you here. There's a couple important things we need to talk about. COVID-19. So with COVID-19, there's a few extra steps we have to take to keep you safe and keep us safe as well. The first thing is a visitor self-declaration form. Every visitor that comes on site has to fill this out. This is just making sure that you haven't been out of the country and you haven't been in contact with anyone that is feeling sick and that you're not feeling sick as well. If you've been in contact with someone who's feeling sick, or if you're feeling sick, stay home. Once you do come on site, you need to make sure you get your temperature checked before you get started working. A few other issues. You'll also be required to have some kind of facial covering to protect you and to protect us. We have hand sanitizers around the mill to keep your hands sanitized, and we require you to wash your hands after using the bathroom and periodically throughout the day. Also, we encourage everyone that comes on site to keep 6-foot social distancing. If you have to close in beyond that 6-foot range, make sure your mask is on whether you're inside or outside of the mill. If you have a temperature of 100.4 or higher, stay home. Now that we're signed in and we know where the evacuation points are, let's talk about PPE. This is very important. Every time you come in the mill, you have to have all of your PPE or personal protective equipment. So what do we require? A bump cap. I got that inside my hat here. Safety glasses. Protecting my eyes. Earplugs to protect my hearing. And then I also need gloves if I plan on doing any work at all. I'm going to wear gloves. So I'm going to keep them on my person as well. All right, now we're ready to enter the mill. Let's go. Oh yeah, before we go out in the mill, it's very important that we don't use our cell phones. We want to keep our cell phones in our pocket. And if we need to check a text message, an email, or reply or answer a phone, we need to do so inside of an office, a break room, or a lab, but we can't do it out on the floor. All right, let's go. One more thing before we go out there is we have a 10-foot, 2-foot rule. If you come within 10 foot of a forklift, the forklift has to stop and lower its load down and allow you to go ahead by, or you can get into a safe location and wave the forklift by. That's the best thing to do, is just get out of the way of the forklift and let them do their job and wave them on by. If you get within 2 foot of a forklift, which means you're probably talking to the forklift driver, now the forklift driver not only has their load down on the ground, but now they have to cut the lift off and engage the e-brake. That's to protect you from getting your feet ran over. So remember that rule. It's a 10-foot, 2-foot rule. Now let's go. Look, if you see a crane in use, step back and stay out of the way. Never walk underneath a suspended load, and just allow the person to finish their job and you stay clear of the area, whether that be a forklift or a crane operating. Whoa, 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 whoa. Were you about to walk through that forklift door? Never walk through a forklift door if there's a pedestrian door option. Always use the pedestrian door and watch out for forklifts. Now come on. Whoa, hold on, hold on. Were you about to come up here on the roof? Before you come on the roof, you're gonna need a roof permit and permission from a Greif supervisor. There's a lot of safety precautions that go on when you have to come up to the roof. And you need to talk about those and communicate those with the Greif supervisor. He'll let you know all the safety precautions that you need to take before you come up on the roof. So let's turn back around and let's go get that roof permit. Hey, I'm glad I caught you here. Were you about to go in the paper yard? You can't go in the paper yard without a yard permit and permission from a Greif supervisor. There's a lot of heavy equipment out here, and we can't take a risk on you getting hurt seriously because you're working out here and nobody knows you're there. The permit will help communicate with the supervisor and the people out in the yard that someone's going to come out there so they can shut down the equipment while you're working. So it's very important that you get your yard permit and communicate before you ever go out into the paper yard. All right, let's go get that permit. Hey, there you are. Come on in here. Hey, look, before you come on site, we're going to need your liability insurance sent over to us so we can keep it on file. You'll also need to resend that every single year. And while you're sending things, go ahead and get pictures of each employee so we can put their face on their lockout tag. You can send that along with that employee's name so we can go ahead and create the lockout tag unless you already have one. We require picture IDs on every lockout tag. So make sure you go ahead and get that sent over to us before you even come on site. Confined spaces pose a very serious safety risk. And we just can't have anybody going in there without doing a lot of safety precautions. So if you think you have to go into a confined space, you better stop right there. Get with your Greif contact. It's a big deal, and we're going to do a lot of different things to keep you safe and keep us safe. So if you need to go in a confined space, stop. Get with your Greif contact first, and we'll have to fill out the proper paperwork and get that area safe for you to enter. Before you do any hot work, which is any heat or spark producing work, stop right there. You can't just go in there and do hot work anywhere, anytime you want. You'll have to get with your Greif contact once again. There's permits to fill out. You have to have a fire watch. His only job is going to be watching out for anything that could start a fire and preventing that from taking place. And if a fire does take place, it's his job to report that out and put it out before it spreads. So before you do any hot work, you better stop right there and get with your Greif contact so we can make sure we have a safe, secure location, all the permits filled out, and all the safety things in place that need to be there before you even get started. We require hot work permits everywhere on site except for a couple key locations inside the mechanical shop where it's been deemed a hot work zone. In that zone, you'll still need to get permission from the Greif representative, but you don't need to get your hot work permit. So check with your Greif representative to make sure you can do that hot work. Oh yeah, look, I know and we know that cell phones are used for almost everything we do nowadays, but they can pose a safety risk, and we're not willing to tolerate that on our site. So if you have your cell phone and you need to use it, get into a safe location, which is an office, a lab, or a break room. But you can't be using your cell phone out on the floor unless you're in a safe location. And once again, you have permission from your Greif contact to make sure what you're doing is safe and secured. The only time you're going to use your cell phone is if it's directly related to troubleshooting the job or gathering information for a job that you need to do, and you have permission from your Greif contact to do so while you're in a safe and secure location. Hey, there you are. I just want to tell you a couple things. Look, we're very thankful for you as a contractor being on our site and doing such a good job. But what's more important is your safety and doing things the right and safe way every single time. If anything seems unsafe or just seems out of the ordinary and you're not sure about it, I want you to stop what you're doing and get with your Greif contact so you can talk it out. We don't want you rushing, and we don't want you doing any job that's unsafe. So stop what you're doing and get with your Greif contact and let's figure out the safe way and the right way to do every single job that we do. It's important that if any injury happens on site, no matter how minor you think it might be, we need that to be reported immediately, because we want to check it out and make sure we mitigate any safety hazard that might be there and take care of you. Oh, I almost forgot. There are a few areas in our mill that may contain asbestos or lead. Now those areas aren't disturbed, and we need to make sure that you don't disturb them either. In the paperwork we send you, there will be locations where the asbestos and the lead are in our site. We need you to be familiar with where it's at and steer clear of it. Come on, let's go to work. All right, now your job might require you to get in a scissor lift or even a boom truck. If you get in any aerial lift at all, we require you to have a body harness and a self-retracting lifeline, and you have to be tied off at all times. Hey, I'm glad I caught you. If you need to do any work on an energized piece of equipment or potentially energized piece of equipment, that equipment has to be locked out at the energy source. But we don't want you doing that, because our guys know all the energy sources and how to get the proper lockout procedures done. So get with your Greif contact to make sure they lock it out completely and securely, and then you'll add your lock onto that group box. Okay, so where we're at right now is a pedestrian walkway just separated off from forklifts. If you ever see a pedestrian walkway that separates you from forklifts, you need to use it, because we want to separate forklifts and pedestrians as much as possible. Come on. All right, so we've covered a lot of safety information in this video. We want you to listen to this video again if you need to. Study your pamphlet that we sent you, and make sure you understand all the safety regulations that we have. If you have any questions or concerns, ask your Greif contact. Now let's go to work, and let's be safe. Remember, your safety is the highest value down here. It's more important than even the work that you're doing, because if you're not going to do it safe, we'd rather you not do it at all. But we know there's a right way and a safe way to do every job. If you have any questions or concerns on how to safely do your job, stop what you're doing and get with your Greif contact, and let's do it the safe way and the right way. We look forward to doing some great, safe work with you on our site. So make sure to review the pamphlet that we sent you, sign off on it, and we look forward to seeing you soon.